Express yourself. Express yourself. Express yourself.
From the coastline to the neighborhoods, Rhode Island is full of beauty, culture, and powerful voices. This is Express Yourself Rhode Island on PEG-RI, your community's platform to celebrate our state and to speak up about what's happening where you live.
Express yourself. Express yourself. Express yourself. Express yourself.
Hi, I'm Ana Borges, and you're watching Express Yourself Rhode Island. If you or someone you know has a concern about something happening within our state, please contact me and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. If you or someone you know owns a house, this show is of particular interest to you. Who really owns your home? Is it you? Is it the bank? Is it an entity? Or is it someone else? This show may just challenge you as to who really owns your property. Surely you have heard of the program called LifeLock. It's supposed to help homeowners be protected from theft. What if I told you that what I'm going to present to you today, LifeLock will not help? Today we're talking about theft, property theft. And unfortunately, it's reached and has reached the state of Rhode Island for quite some time. The best word to describe what's happening here on 14 Martin Court is chaos. Absolute chaos. The owner of this property, her name is Ana Borges. And here goes the story. Ana Borges contacted me, and she was undergoing foreclosure. And she had all these notices, all these papers and things that she did not understand. After having the matter cleared up with her trustee, this matter continues to be litigated and fought in the courts. The bank attorneys are fiercely trying to take this home. Their goal is to foreclose on the property. Ana Borges, however, her goal is to keep her property. And she has been fighting for years. It's been over 3 years now, as I mentioned. How did this all get started, and how did this go so wrong? While in court litigation, the constable came and asked her to leave before the date that she was supposed to leave. And then the police arrived, and she ended up being forced to leave her property. Shortly afterwards, it wasn't long afterwards, over a short period of time, on the 4th of July, her home went up in flames, caught fire. Let's take a look at this video. First, I'd like to give you a little background. My career in real estate started in Florida. So when the housing crisis struck in the mid-2000s, I was actually there. At that time, just before that, I had already been working as a real estate sales agent. And I sold many, many foreclosed properties during that time, and even purchased a couple myself. I also sold foreclosed properties for HUD, Housing of Urban Development. And it was a very lucrative business. At that time, I did not understand the foreclosure process. I believed at that time that these people fell behind on their payments and could no longer afford to keep their homes and therefore lost their properties. At that time, I was not really fully understanding what was going on with Wall Street and the mortgage-backed securities, with lenders bundling them up and just losing paperwork and sending them out to various lenders multiple times over, and I didn't understand any of that. And it wasn't until the year 2023 that I actually came to understand what was going on during that time. And unfortunately, there's a lot of properties out there, including those of the people that are being televised on the show, that is undergoing the foreclosure process with bank lenders and bank attorneys trying to foreclose on the property to take the property. So there seems to be confusion. There are paperwork coming into the courts with initials that don't belong to the people. We know that Linda Green is one of the signatures that was copied by whomsoever, and those are not real documents. We'll go into more about that a little later. But this is an eye-opener, and it's going to open the eyes of many people here in Rhode Island, because we all need to look at our mortgage documents to see what's going on. If you don't understand what's written, I strongly suggest getting a professional to look at those documents. Go to the courthouse, to the clerk's office, look at your chain of title, look at your property, find out what's going on. Because that seems to be where all this begins. Someone, an attorney unfortunately, will file a document in the land records, and that's the initiation, that is the first step, the beginning for that homeowner to face foreclosure, to find themselves battling in the courts, fighting for their property, because out of the blue, and they don't know where or how, these documents are being filed in the land records. And it's very, very easy, because unfortunately, the attorneys are not questioned. And just because the papers are notarized, that doesn't make it official either. Because we know from information that we have, and you can research this yourself, 60 Minutes, when they did the segment on Who Owns Your Home, they had people forging signatures on mortgage documents, and they had notaries that knew that the documents were forged and were stamping them, giving the approval as if they were legitimate. So all this has been uncovered and discovered. I encourage you to look into everything that I'm talking about. I will give you the case numbers to all three. I have 3 individuals, 3 separate families, or representing their families, that are on the show talking about what they're going through. And you can follow exactly what's going through. This is public information. You can go to the website, the court website. You can put in the numbers, and you can follow what's going on. And I highly recommend that you do. This is an epidemic. It is a huge problem, and it's not the problem of just homeowners. It's the problem of the entire state of Rhode Island, as well as this country at large. But we focus here on Express Yourself Rhode Island on matters that concern us, so that we can voice these concerns, because everything begins, any change has to first begin with knowing that there's a problem. Once you identify that there's a problem, then we can move forward in how can we change this. What can we do to stop these attorneys from submitting these falsified documents in the land records, so that other people don't have to continuously go through what the state of Rhode Island has been going through, and God only knows for how long. So stay with me. This is a very important program. I encourage you to watch this, take notes, send this information out to your friends and to your family, because again, awareness is the first step to change. Now let's move on with the program and find out what's going on with these properties here in Rhode Island that are undergoing the foreclosure process with the bank attorneys fighting for the properties, and the homeowners fighting as well. Let's watch.
First this morning, breaking overnight, crews on the scene of a house fire in Pawtucket. This fire started at about 3:30 in the morning. We have video from a viewer here. The flames popping out of the windows here, engulfing a lot of this home. Right now, there's no word on any injuries or how the fire started. We will bring you an update as soon as we learn one.
Now that we've seen the destruction to the home, there's no way that she can return to her property because it's no longer suitable for anyone to live in. According to the neighbors, homeless people and cats have been residing in the house from time to time. The insurance company from the home sent Lori the funds in order for her to make the corrections and repair what needs to be repaired. And they did this because according to the land records, the Pawtucket land records, this house is located in the city of Pawtucket. It indicates and shows on record that Lori Boss is the legal owner of 16 Martin Court. It also shows that her loan from her mortgage company discharged the loan, which means she no longer owns or has the loan. According to the land records and according to Lori Boss, she only took out one loan. The bank attorneys are claiming she took out a second mortgage, and it is the second mortgage that has them in litigation fighting over this property. Now, the court records have been submitted to the courts, and you would think that the courts would look at the evidence and that this would end. But unfortunately, it continues to be battled in the courts, and it's just a mess. And prior to her home catching on fire, an auction was conducted. Again, while the home is under litigation, the auctioneers came and they conducted the sale right outside her home. I have some pictures here showing the auctioneer company called Sullivan & Sullivan came and auctioned out this property. And according to the new homeowner, as he calls himself, claims to have been the highest bidder. And from time to time, he would show up at this house, trying to get Lori Boss and her family to leave so that he could take possession of what he believed was his home. Again, all this during court litigation, when the judge has not yet made a decision as to who the legal owner is. We have auctioneers and claiming that the property has been sold and that it does have an owner. That is not Lori Boss. This situation has created a tremendous amount of stress for Lori and her family. Let's talk to her and find out what she's facing and what she's going through. Let's take a look. So thank you so much for being with us today. Please tell us what's going on with your house.
I wish I knew. People showed up at my house 5 days after I got a letter in the mail saying they were going to do a foreclosure. And then all hell broke loose. They were tramping all over the property and everything else, and they were told to leave. And I contacted you to let you know. I've been fighting for it. I thought it was paid off. And my trustee, they showed up, I got a letter in the mail 5 days before they showed up saying they were going to do a foreclosure sale. And when all these people started showing up and being rude, and it was crazy. And I had no idea what was going on. And I called my trustee to have him get there and find out what's going on, because I had no idea. Because I think they were wrong.
Did you ever make another loan with a different lender on this property at any time?
No. I only refinanced one time. We only refinanced one time. And I've never defaulted on anything. So I only had the one loan.
Are you in court now?
Yes, we are. I said, because this is getting tiring. This should have been all taken care of 3 years ago when it was paid off. Instead, they're making up lies and saying I got a mortgage, that I defaulted on another mortgage, which I know nothing about. I've only ever owned one house and was there for 35 years.
Has this caused you any stress?
Oh my God. It's giving me ulcers. I drink more because of it. It's just making me crazy. I'm tired of fighting sometimes, but I keep going because you know it's worth it.
And you've been misplaced. You're not in your house. They have thrown you out of your own property.
Yes, they came. It was actually supposed to be May 9th. They came in May 2nd, pounding on the door, saying I had to get out. I was able to get a couple of things and my dog. The only person I ever talked to that whole time was the dog officer. They came and that foreclosure, that eviction should never have happened that day. The constable told us he canceled it for that day. And that didn't happen. An hour later, they showed back up in force, and by the end of the day, there had to be 10 police cars outside, like I'm a criminal. You know, that's what I felt like. It was horrifying. I was in tears, like, you know, this is so stupid. What am I going to do against you? You know, I just think it was all wrong and too much baloney going on as far as that goes.
And why was the animal police officer there? What did he have to do with any of this?
Because I had 2 cats, and they got out because of them. They were there trying to catch the cats. They were actually my daughter's cats. And that's the only reason the animal control was there, because they knew about the 2 cats. And then I had the dog, which I took with me.
And I understand your daughter was pregnant at the time, living with you as well, and she had to be misplaced. Your whole family had to move out.
We had to move out, yeah. Misplaced. I was homeless for a while, so we've been scraping around. I finally found a place thanks to my sister, temporarily. Because after this foreclosure thing, the eviction and everything, I had a fire on July 4th of 2025.
The house caught on fire.
House caught on fire.
July 4th.
Yes.
And please tell us, why did you want to tell your story?
Because nobody should have to go through this, as far as I'm concerned. There's too much corruption going on. These people come in, they make up all these stories, and it's just not right. I don't want anybody else to be a victim. It's not right for anybody. And to go through the hell I've gone through with this, I wanted to give up a couple of times, I'll be honest, but I didn't. You know, thanks to my trustee helping me out here with this. I mean, I just don't want to see anybody else go through this. It's very painful, nerve-wracking, and nightmare.
Now, before we talk about the property on 16 Dudley Street, there are some things that I would like you to know. First, we have to go back to Wall Street. Back in the mid-2000s, when the Wall Street crisis fueled the economy, and it was absolutely severe, with banks who were purchasing mortgage-backed securities that were being sold multiple times over. And in this process, information got lost. And so the question is, what does the home on Dudley Street have to do with the Wall Street crisis in the mid-2000s? A lot. The aftermath of the crisis continues and has reached us here in the state of Rhode Island at the property known as 16 Dudley Street. Now, this property at this recording continues to be litigated in the courts. There are bank attorneys who are fighting for this property. They are trying to foreclose on it and take the property. And the homeowners are fighting to keep the property. So it continues to be litigated in the courts. It's probably been, it's been a few years now, and the battle continues. To make matters worse, during the time, again, this house is still under litigation, this home was actually put up for sale. and it was auctioned on the sidewalk. The public was invited, the people came, and the home was auctioned off. And it went, according to the real estate agent, to the highest bidder. And though, again, it's still under litigation, there was a sign on the window indicating that it's in litigation, and with a no trespassing sign on the fence. The agent still proceeded to step foot on the property, go to the door, and requested that the family leave because the home had been auctioned off and sold to the highest bidder, which she said was her sister. Let's take a look and watch the footage.
Sí, yes,
Y yo me
puedo.
estoy grabando, Dios mío.
Who's Mary Fernandez?
That's the person that bought the house.
I didn't know about the house. The boss is
At
pay
the
off.
auction. Espérate. Hold on, Laila. I can
Llámalo.
hear you.
Llámalo.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, yes. Who's this?
So Mary and
Left
I
you
work
my car.
together.
You Mary what? Fernandez?
House was just auctioned today by the bank. Do you know that?
Did you buy the house from the auction?
Yes.
Nah, liquilico.
Ah,
Just happened.
you must be wrong.
But listen.
You
Okay,
should
I
call them.
understand.
You should call
I'm
them.
here to help you. We're not here to cause trouble. So if you just listen to me, I can.
Você tem mesmo que hoje é papel
Okay.
de casa.
So I can help you, okay? We're not here.
Casa, quem é que vai
No,
casa?
no. Who is the Mary Fernandez? Is you?
So can you listen to me?
Yes, I do listen to you.
Okay. Is it English better?
Whatever you wanna talk. You wanna talk English or Spanish or whatever.
Can you please
Yeah.
not record me, though? Because I'm not here
Yeah.
to cause any trouble. Can you please not record me?
Ah,
I don't
no,
want the
I'm
right-
sorry. I need this.
Yes.
I don't want the right.
Go ahead.
I need this.
Okay.
I just wanna explain something to you. So everybody calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The bank
Mm-hmm.
auctioned your house. Okay?
Which bank? Which bank?
The bank that you have your mortgage.
No, they can the property.
I understand.
Okay, I'm not gonna talk to you. I don't wanna talk to you.
That number.
Call the bank.
You
Qual é o
need.
número daquele advogado?
You need
The property is 100% out of the auction.
It is.
Yeah.
If they wanna come, come. I got everything. I have the deed. I have the
You should
payoff.
call your
Everything.
bank. Yeah,
Yeah.
call your bank.
Okay.
No worries. I'm sorry to disturb you.
Okay.
What is
Okay.
it, Lila?
They need to call the bank.
Can you please do me a favor and call the bank so they can explain it to
Right.
you?
I don't wanna
Bring
call
the-
the bank.
bring
You wanna
the-
call
my-
my trust. I don't wanna call
yeah.
nobody.
Yeah.
I don't wanna talk to you. The property is under the trust.
I'm not
Okay.
here to cause any problem.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
So again, because of Wall Street and the mid-2000s crisis, with financial institutions who were bundling up all these loans and with information getting lost, some of these lenders decided that they would fill in the gap for those missing documents. So a lot of mills sprung up, document mills. And there was one that sprung up in Georgia called Docs. And Docs was hiring high school students to forge and sign names on mortgage documents. And one name was Linda Green. And when 60 Minutes caught up with the real Linda Green, who on the mortgage documents was supposed to be they were signing as if she was the vice president. Turns out she was vice president of 20 different banks at the same time. So again, all these high schoolers are just signing off the name Linda Green on we don't even know how many mortgage documents. So when Scott Pelley caught up with the real Linda Green, she said that she was not the vice president of any bank and that she was actually the mail clerk. So to compound the injury further and to make the Linda Green connection, before I go any further, this may be a good time for you, if you are a homeowner, to review your mortgage documents. Pay special attention to the signature pages. And if you see the name Linda Green, then it is highly suggested that you contact a professional to review those documents because you may be a victim of fraud. Now back to the 16 Dudley Street property. On their mortgage documents by Wells Fargo, the name Linda Green appears. I interviewed the family inside their home. Let's hear what they had to say about what they're going through and what this whole experience has been like. Let's watch. So please tell us what's happening with your house. Cos'è che sta acontecendo com a nossa casa?
Pronto, nós teve envios de 2 documentos por parte de nós lenda e por fim encontrou uma carta de aceleração de foreclosure. Então deixa a minha wife saber o que é que se passa e ela disse lá e contacta.
Me contacta
Sim.
a boa para boa de se tá ajudando para morrer aquele paquete que eles mandaram, nós nunca sabe ler, nunca sabe cozer que não tá fazendo naquela situação que eles falaram nessa por casa na foreclosure. Então no contacta boa para ajudar para a situação de que nos está passando para casa, de casa.
Well, so initially what happened was we got a packet in the mail, kind of something like this, real thick like this, that my parents can't read. We didn't understand what it was saying, but we knew it had to do with foreclosure, so that's when she contacted you, and you told us to call our trustee, and from there we've been fighting for our house ever since.
Have you ever taken out a loan with a different lender? Alguma vez nostra loan com outro lender?
Não, por acaso nunca me fazer um loan com outro lenda.
Nunca fosse lono e principalmente a mim, Maria, a mim que pode fazer para morrer, a mim que tem nome na mortgage company de casa, é só ele que tem, a mim que pode fazer nada para que se flama mano tralono coisa. A mim que tem nome na casa, nunca pode ser tão para tomar dinheiro na mortgage company.
My father hasn't taken out a loan with any other lender except for Wells Fargo's, the initial loan. And my mom has never taken out a loan with any lender, not even Wells Fargo's. And the only thing that she's on, that her name is on, is the deed.
Na deed.
Are you in court now? Eu estou na corte Gossi.
Sim, está num processo de trair ao corte com você.
Não está na corte coisa para morrer que esse problema que fica te enviando que essa carta. Então esse que põe na corte depois Gossi nós que está na corte com esse para nos demandar de tudo os danos que eles fizeram.
Yes, we are currently in court fighting for our house. This is the most recent package that just came in regarding the court case. And initially, they brought us to court, but now we're the ones that are fighting. We're the plaintiffs.
Has the situation caused you any stress? É situação de trazer-nos algum trauma?
Transmitiu stress para morrer. Ele, Hipólito, meu marido, ele está levanta 3 horas de madrugada, ele fica tanda dentro de casa, ele também está bem, a mim que está dorme, a mim que tem sono, minha tensão fica alto, e fica também médico, dor de cabeça, eles passam medicina de 75 miligramas para tomar. Para morrer de aquele stress. Minha filha está chora, minha filho, aquele outro, tudo que vai que está falando, coisa que você está passa, tudo alguém fica traumatizado dentro dessa casa ali, tudo. A minha tia nunca está dormindo direito. Tinha aquele corte que tem ele ontem, ele acorda 3 horas de madrugada, nunca dorme. Eu estou nem a hoje ali. 3 horas de madrugada, acorda, não fica acordado, nunca dorme. Para não ficar até pensa, coisa que está passa.
This has caused me and my family a great deal of stress, lack of sleep. My father, he's up at 3 a.m. pacing back and forth in the house. My mom's blood pressure has gone through the roof since the news, and she's even had to go into the ER and have her meds adjusted multiple times because of this. She's had fainting spells, headaches. Me and my siblings are going through a great deal of stress as well, crying all the time, not knowing when someone's going to come in and just kick us out of our house, and not knowing where we're going to go next. And we have a disabled brother, so that's already something big on our plate that we're dealing with. And where is he going to go if our home gets taken? That's something that my mom thinks about a lot, and she's very stressed. We're all very, very stressed.
Why do you want to tell us your story? Como que nós quer contar a história?
Não queria contar uma história para modi. A mim, antes, já ouvia que amigas, já ouvia que história de alguém que está perto de casa, naquela situação ali, está falando, mas nunca que está pensava, me era real. Bem sabe, depois que chega alguém na minha casa, põe papel na porta, falando, mas casa está na auction, mas ele é dono de casa, que diz dá dom para não sair, para não dar casa. Depois de que ele não fica a saber, mas tem alguém que perde casa, que sabe para modo botar trazido uns documentos que vou botar saber ler, botar saber o que você está passa, por isso que não quer contar a história, para alguém para saber o que você está passa no mundo ou na América ali, com toda raça que está vive ali, que está perde casa naquela situação ali.
We want to tell our story because we've heard of this happening before to other people, and it just sounded so outrageous that we thought it was a lie until it happened to us. And we were receiving documents like this, thick documents that we can't read, we don't understand, we have no idea what it means. And these are the kind of documents that come to our house all the time. And we want to get this story out here because we don't know who PHH is, we don't know who these other lenders are that are claiming that we took out loans with them. And we want to get our story out to help other families that are possibly going through something like this. Minority families as well that can't afford to pay for help like this, or even a lawyer or trustee or anyone that can help them figure out what is going on with their home. We want to get the story out because we want to help others.
Bem na casa que põe papel na porta, que fala numa casa está na auction.
We want to help other families, and there was also a lady that came up to our house and claimed that she bought our home off of an auction. Just one single piece of paper claiming that she bought our home off of an auction and we have to get out. And if we didn't have your advice and the advice of the trustee, then we would have gotten out of the house and they could have just taken over. And we want to make sure that that doesn't happen to other families because this is just insane, outrageous, that they can even get away with this. And we want to make sure that we don't let them get away with this ever again. And we also want to get compensated for all of the trauma that we have gone through.
Obrigada. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Obrigada. Não te agradeci, não te falou muito obrigada para Modi, que não estava na situação que não estava no piso, no chão, no fala com o bo, contacta trust que tomaram nos caso de nos casa, que põe nos casa na safety, que não fica mais aliviado. Por isso que não te agradeceu tudo, não te reza, não te pediu Deus para abençoar sempre, para Modi, ajudar na tudo que situação difícil que não estava.
We just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all of your help, all of your advice, telling us to contact the trustee, and all of the steps that we need to protect our home. And we can't thank you enough for all the work that you've been doing with us, and we hope to do the same work with other families that are going through the same thing.
It's important to note that according to the Semedo family, they paid off the mortgage in full. And according to Wells Fargo, the mortgage was discharged. So you would think that the courts would end it because they do have this information, but not so. The battle continues in the courts despite having evidence that the mortgage was paid off and discharged by Wells Fargo. Now let's meet Mr. Emmanuel, who owns a property in Providence, Rhode Island. I cannot pronounce the name of the street, so I will let you know that the property is owned by the Lion of Judah. That's how the property is recorded in the land records. And according to the land records in Providence, he is the rightful owner of the property. Problem is, we have bank attorneys claiming that the property needs to be foreclosed upon. They want to take the property from him. So this is in litigation. They have been going back and forth, fighting this out. It's been a few years now. And let's talk to Mr. Emmanuel and hear his story as to what it's like to be in the court system fighting for his property when the opposing side represents themselves and comes to court without evidence. Yes, you heard correct. Let's meet Mr. Emmanuel. Hi, thank you. We're back with Express Yourself Rhode Island. We have a special guest on the show, and I would like to introduce him. Thank you for coming on the show, Mr. Emmanuel.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
You are a Providence resident.
Correct.
And you are a homeowner.
Correct.
Please tell us what's happening with your house.
What's happening? Well, there's a lot of things that are happening, actually. But let me say this. I got a notice for an eviction from U.S. Bank. We had been in dispute with them for years. Asked them to prove whatever the claims are and such, and they hadn't done that. Now there's an eviction, but once we got to court, they dismissed it. So that was that. I get home, I see a letter from another company, PPSI, and their attorneys claiming that their owners, never heard of these people, they weren't mentioned in any of our documents anywhere, any way, shape, or form. So where'd they come from? So we did debt validation with U.S. Bank, debt validation with PPSI. No one gave us anything. Went to 6th District Court. That wasn't a nice experience. No one wanted to hear how this whole thing started. They wanted to just simply steal property. Didn't want to hear a word, didn't want evidence, didn't want to hear about how this all came about. They wanted none of those things. They set up another date, had a death in the family. I asked them to give me 19 days to situate my family's affairs. Instead, they gave me 12 days. One of my friends was nice enough to go down there and handle that for me because we had to leave suddenly. And apparently, the attorney didn't believe that we had a death in the family and such, but I had to be back on the 12th. So I had to drop everything down there and rush back here to be able to stand in honor and say, hey, listen, here's the proof of what's going on. They didn't even want to hear that. They didn't want to hear how this thing came about. I asked the judge, I says, listen, are you going to give me an opportunity to defend myself or not? Because he just kept, no. The attorney can speak and didn't want me to say anything. And I say, well, so what are we going to do? If you say one more thing, the judge says, I'm going to toss you out of my courtroom. And he just tried to shut me down. And I says, well, this isn't fair. I said, I have a right to defend myself. You're not going to give me a right to defend myself? Out of my courtroom. And my witness too. Out of the courtroom, get out. And that was that. We filed an appeal, and now we're in Superior Court. And that date's coming up. So that's the long and the short of what took place.
Right. So to recap, you provided evidence to the court, to the judge.
I tried to.
You
but,
tried to.
But they wouldn't listen. They wouldn't accept anything.
They would not listen or look at the evidence at all, or even consider it.
Not at all.
Any reason why?
Only God knows why they wouldn't do.
And you were thrown out of court because you were trying to stand up for your rights, and you were trying to get the judge to look at the evidence, and the judge would not.
He would not look at the evidence.
And threw you out.
And threw me out.
My question is, how did they continue court if they threw you out?
That's a good question, yet they did. So we filed an appeal.
So would you say that the judge is leaning more towards you're the defendant in this case?
Correct.
So the prosecution, would you say that the attorneys who are representing whoever they're representing, would you say that the judge is taking their word?
Absolutely.
Because they're barred attorneys over a pro se litigant?
That's some of it. It was like I wasn't there. It was like I wasn't even there. Okay, so they asked them everything. Show me what you have, and I guess the gentleman pulled up some document like this, and I'd like to see that. I didn't get to see that. And judge says, what more proof do you want? That's like, well, that's the document, but what does it say?
Who was holding up the document?
I guess the attorney's client held it up, and they let them go on and say what they wanted to say, and wouldn't let me say anything. It was just like that the whole time.
Okay, so the prosecuting side with their client brought in paperwork and information and did not share that with you. So you did not get to see what was presented.
Correct. It was one document.
So you have absolutely no idea what was presented.
No idea.
And that's what the judge was going by.
That's what he was going by.
And refused to look at your evidence.
Correct.
Refused to hear what you had to say.
Correct.
And in the end, threw you out of the courtroom.
And threw me out and made a decision on his own.
Now, is
presence.
a judge, as far as my understanding is, I don't have a law degree, but you are fighting for your rights. So despite being a pro se litigant, it is the judge's responsibility and job to look at whatever evidence is presented. They can't just assume that you're lying and that the other side is telling the truth. So that is something that needs to be changed, I believe, in the court system. And what I'm hearing from you is what I'm hearing from other people as well. So there just seems to be a pattern where if it's a licensed attorney, they're not going to lie. So the judge takes their word as if they're God, and what they say is true, and eyes are closed to evidence. So that is something that definitely needs to change, because it provides an opportunity for attorneys to lie and steal people's homes if the judges are relying on their word over facts, over substance. So that is totally wrong. Tell me, again, where are you in this process now? And what is your hope in the long run? What do you want?
Right now, we're going to be in Superior Court. We're going to present what we could not present at the 6th District Court. Mm-hmm. I'm fighting for what's rightfully mine. That's what it is. Right. I mean, a lot of people, if they dealt with this kind of thing, they would just fold and walk away and and just take a loss, not really questioning how they could do it. They don't have the money to fight, they don't this, they don't that, or whatever the case might be. But too many people are getting properties taken from them at an alarming rate everywhere. I saw something in New York where they stopped a lot of that. They put a stop. They drained that swamp, and they stopped all of those kind of things from happening. You have a task force for it. It needs to happen in Rhode Island. It's just absolutely ridiculous, the things that take place here. I could be anywhere, live anywhere, or what have you. You know, I've been in Rhode Island for a long time. I've supported Rhode Island for a long time. I've done amazing things in Rhode Island. I've learned a lot in Rhode Island, a lot of things in Rhode Island, helped a lot of people in Rhode Island. A lot of people in Rhode Island have helped me. But this is just something else. This is a whole nother animal that I never had to deal with. Never had to deal with. Mm-hmm. How do you try to take somebody's property? They settle a debt, and you say, yeah, by the way, we're gonna take this anyway, and show me that you're the owner.
Right.
Ignore you.
Exactly.
Send you nothing, but they make these backroom deals of however they're going to do it. I'm not saying everybody's like that. There are some really good people, law enforcement people, attorneys, judges. There's some good people out there.
Yes, that
and
is
they're very fair, and they're not gonna let.
Right.
But then there's some that simply won't, and they abuse their powers. Those are the guys.
Exactly.
I can't just walk away and go, yeah, it's okay. It's not okay. Be fair about this thing.
Right, exactly. It's the 3%.
Be honorable about this thing.
Right, the 3% that's doing not right, that's, doing illegal things. Mm-hmm. You raised a very important point as well. Being in court, you have asked the other side to present evidence of what they're saying. You have to present evidence that what they're saying is true and that they have a claim on your property. And so are you saying that they have not provided any proof or any evidence to you or to the courts
We sent out
to show that they have some type of claim?
That validation letters, no response.
So you've requested and you've asked, but they're not responding. They're not producing any evidence at all.
No evidence whatsoever
to substantiate the claim that they're making, and yet you're in court, and this is moving forward. And this is what's happening in Rhode Island.
This is what's happening in Rhode Island and a lot of places.
And you're correct. It's happening in a lot of places. It's an epidemic, and you also mentioned New York City.
Yeah.
And the new mayor there did formulate a staff, he has a person who's leading the deed theft department in New York City.
Correct.
That is correct. And I actually met with him in person. I was in Manhattan, New York. It took a long time to find him, the lead person there that the mayor has appointed. But we found him. He had just gotten his office that same day, because as soon as I found out about it, I was there. So I did have the opportunity to meet him.
Beautiful.
And this is something that they're working on. This is something that I'm doing this show, Express Yourself Rhode Island, because I want the people in Rhode Island to know that this is happening. This is something that I didn't know about until the year 2023. Mm-hmm. And I sold foreclosed properties, and I've been a licensed real estate broker for many, many years. I sold more foreclosed properties than anything else when I lived in the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know anything about this. I always thought that if you lose your house, it's because you were not able to make those payments, you were experiencing some type of hardship. I had absolutely no idea that people, through the legal system, are losing their houses like you.
Systematically just losing.
Yes. So we need to open the eyes of the public. We need to open the eyes of the people here in the state of Rhode Island. And I'm very happy that New York is doing something. They're working on it in their city, where that mayor is, unrelated here in Rhode Island. But all of this does come together. And eventually, it will catch on. And eventually, I don't know when, the court systems will have to change, where they will have to listen to pro se litigants. They'll have to listen to homeowners. They'll have to look at the evidence, because you can't just take someone's house. This is your life, it's your blood, it's your sweat, it's your tears, it's everything you've ever worked for, everything, and your family is there. It's your nest, it's the American dream. And learning about this, to be honest with you, it does not encourage homeowners to purchase homes. Because if this can happen to them, why go through all of that, put the major down payment, pay off your house for, God knows how many years, just in the end to have it taken away from you because someone stole it and split the profits and did what they wanted to do. That is totally wrong. We need change.
It is.
We need change here in the state of Rhode Island, and I'm doing this show because public awareness is needed. And when the public is aware and they know what's happening, that's when things start to change. It's no longer a secret. So I thank you so much for coming on the show.
Certainly.
I thank
Appreciate
you
that.
for your courage, and I wish you well.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. I would like to thank Miss Lori Boss, Mr. Emmanuel, and the Cimento family for bravely and courageously sharing their story with us so that we can get this information out to the public. Also, the schedule for this televised program will show at the end of every program. So you will get to see the schedule to see what days and times I will be televised. Also, because of the length of this program, I was not able to get everything in a single hour. All the shows will run for an hour long. Please know that there will be a second part to this program, part 1 and part 2. The title of this program is The Secrets of the Illegal Foreclosure Markets. Could you be the next victim? Awareness is key to stop this virus from spreading further. And that's why we do these programs here at Express Yourself Rhode Island. Any concern that concerns Rhode Islanders is a concern for all of us. And together, we can make the state a far better place to live. Thank you kindly for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.
Express yourself. Express yourself. You don't know.